Alright guys, again make sure you have the study guide open and for the Unit 7 map, and then let's fill this out together. Okay, so Central, South America, right, including the Caribbean of course. So first we're going to label Mexico. We're going to outline it in green here. Okay. Mexico. Bam. Let's type it in there. Alright. So we got the first one there, right? Yeah? Okay. Good. Okay. Then let's label Guatemala. This one's a little small, so we're just gonna try and fit it in here. Okay, I'm gonna draw an arrow pointing to it. There you go. Whoa. There we go. Guatemala. Okay, that one right in there. Okay, so make sure you draw your arrow to the correct one. Okay. And then after that, we have El Salvador. So let's find El Salvador, and then let's label it on our map. Again, it's going to be tricky because some of them are kind of smaller to label. So I'm going to draw an arrow pointing right in there. Bam. Okay. El Salvador. Okay. So that tiny little guy on the Pacific coast, right on the coast there. El Salvador. Then we got Belize. Let's label that. Also kind of a small one. This time not facing the Pacific, but facing the Caribbean. Right in there. Bam. Belize. Okay. Former British colony. Right. It's one of the last places in Central or South America that the British gave up as part of their empire. All right. So right in there, Belize. Right, kind of next to Guatemala. Make sure you have that labeled. And then we have Honduras. So also next to all of those guys, let's label that right in here. Bam. Kind of more room in here, so that's good. Honduras, right there. Make sure we got that labeled. Okay. And then right below it, Nicaragua. Bam, right? That country right in there. Right? And feel free to make yours a lot more colorful than mine, right? Okay, if you want to be more colorful. Nicaragua, it's that country right in there. Okay, just so you get an idea. Okay? And after Nicaragua, we got Costa Rica. So let's label that right below it. Costa Rica, pura vida. Costa Rica. All right in there, right to the south of Nicaragua, right, but not so south that you're going into Panama. Okay. All right, so obviously, right, Panama is going to be this little stretch of land here, where the Panama Canal is, right, obviously. I'm writing Panama Canal. Panama, right, just write Panama. Okay, right there. Okay? Then let's zoom up and let's go into the Caribbean, right in here. We're going to start off by labeling Cuba. I'm going to make it yellow, so this little guy here, bam. Alright, there we go. Alright, Cuba. Alright, make sure you got that. Then label the British colony in the Caribbean. Alright, let's label that Jamaica. Bam. Right? Jamaica. There we go. And then we're going to label this side of Hispaniola. Alright. Bam. There we go. I'm going to put an arrow, and then we're going to write Haiti right there. Former French colony. Used to be called Saint-Domingue. Right? Now called Haiti. And then on the other side of that island, right, is of course the DR, the Dominican Republic. So let's label that as well. I'm just going to write DR, right? But just know, right, make sure you know it's the Dominican Republic. And then we're going to label right next to it. Let's make that pink, why not? All right. Puerto Rico. Right, I'm just going to write PR again, right? PR. Right, make sure you know, right, on your map that it's Puerto Rico, right? Former Spanish colony, right? The Americans take Puerto Rico from Spain, and it becomes an American territory after the end of the Spanish-American War, right? Puerto Rico, okay? All right. Right, and of course, right, we don't really have to label this, right? But if you wanted to get specific, right, this here is the Bahamas, right? If in case you were wondering, in case you wanted to know, right, those islands right there. But in the meantime, let's go here. Okay, so let's go right in there, and let's label some countries in South America. So the first one we got is Venezuela. So we're going to label it in here. Venezuela. Okay. Let's just make that orange. Why not? Alright, Venezuela. Bam. Then we're going to label Colombia next to it. Okay, this guy here. Bam. Right, these are obviously right, the newly created independent states that won their freedom and independence from Spain and created their own countries. Right, for a while, there was a country known as Gran Colombia, which was a huge mix of all these into one big country. But then each of these countries became independent on their own right. Right, but this is the breakup of the former really large Spanish Empire. It's the beginning of the end for Spain in terms of being an imperial power. Then in here, Ecuador. Whoa. There we go. Ecuador, right in there. Then to the south of that, Peru. Right, this guy in here. Peru. Bam. Okay. Okay? Just like that. Peru. Then continue moving south. And we're going to label Bolivia. Right, this country right in here. Boom. Bolivia. There we go. Okay, make sure you're keeping up. All right. Then the skinny little twig, right, of Chile. Let's label that. We'll make it this color. Why not? All right on the coast here. All right, bring it all the way down if you want. Okay, for Chile. All right, so make sure you got that. Make sure you got it labeled. Chile. Then let's label the big country in here. All right, Argentina. Let's make it this color. Why not? All right, all of this in here, including that little guy. But Patagonia. Okay. There we go. Argentina. Bam. All right, there we go. Make sure you got that labeled for Argentina. Almost done. Okay. Let's label Paraguay in here. Running out of colors here. We're going to make it this bland color for Paraguay, right? Bam. And then its superior neighbor to the south, Uruguay. It's supposed to have really beautiful beaches there. I want to go there one day, but we'll see. Uruguay, bam. And then, of course, right, let's label Brazil. Big country of Brazil. Right? This big guy right here. Right? This, obviously, right, was a Portuguese colony, right? The main Portuguese holding when the Portuguese had their large colonial empire. Brazil. Where the Amazon rainforest is, right, etc. Okay? And if you're wondering, right, what these countries are up here, right, you don't have to label them, they're not, right, but this right here is French Guiana. The French actually still hold this. It was one of the few places the French had in South America, but they still own it, right? They never allowed it to get independence. Suriname, and then just Guyana in here with a Y. Okay, just in case you were wondering. Right, and then all of these are smaller Caribbean islands, right? Some of them are still owned by the British, by the French, by the Dutch. Okay, and this down here is the Falkland Islands, owned by the British. Argentina tried to take it back in the 80s. The British fought them and won and kept the islands. Right, so these are British-owned islands still. Falklands. Oh, and I forgot to label the very important Galapagos Islands. Hugely important in terms of biology, studying ecosystems, right? Still beautifully preserved natural reserve. Most of the islands are. Right? I want to go there one day too. All right, but once you have that, make sure you have everything labeled. Then go ahead